The World Cup is fast approaching, but a lot of teams aren't quite ready yet. There's still a lot that has to be done across the board, and most of it won't be easy. Some national team managers are holding back on doing certain things, but we strongly believe that they need to do these things if they really want to go far in the summer tournament. But what are these things these guys must do? That's exactly what we're here to find out. This is one tough decision every big nation must make ahead of the World Cup.
Hey Goal 90 family, what's good? The World Cup season is here and you already know the vibes on this channel. So for everyone who's been rocking with us, Goal 90 Shop has World Cup jerseys for the whole squad. Men, women and kids. Whatever country you're repping, we've got ya. Home kits, away kits, clean classics and the loud ones. Instant match day energy. And it's love from us. Free shipping worldwide. Grab yours now and let's run this tournament together.
We'll start with Spain. Luis de la Fuente has shown that he is a very loyal guy who likes to reward people who have been faithful to him, but we think it might be time for him to abandon that philosophy. This man really has two world-class shot stoppers in the squad, and he's leaving them on the bench because of his loyalty to Unai Simon. Obviously, Simon helping them win the Euros is something to be grateful for, but you always want to be putting your best foot forward, especially at a tournament as grand as the World Cup, and in the goalkeeping department, Simon is simply not Spain's best. I mean, we saw the importance of avoiding sentiments and always playing your best goalkeeper in the recent EFL Cup final. If Arteta had started Raya instead of Kepa, the outcome of that game might just have been different. Yes, this would be a tough decision to make, but we believe De La Fuente has to drop Simon for either Raya or Joan Garcia at the World Cup. As for France, we think Didier Deschamps might have to relegate Dembele to the bench, and we'll tell you why we say so in a bit. But if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Done? Now back to the video. Sure, it does sound crazy to even suggest putting the reigning Ballon d'Or holder on the bench in the biggest competition. I mean, that's literally the best player in the world right now, as per the award, but we believe it's something France must do in order to achieve a balanced team. Dembele plays as a 9 for PSG, and that was where he did all the work, which earned him the Ballon d'Or. But here's why it's not very straightforward. At PSG, Luis Enrique has created a system that allows Dembele to float all around the pitch, so he doesn't just sit in the box like your regular 9. France simply cannot afford him that free role, and he just cannot play as a 9 with Mbappe there. He also should not play on the right wing ahead of Michael Olise, so the best thing might just be to put him on the bench instead of trying to force him into the starting 11. And no need suggesting putting him on the left wing. Dembele hasn't played there since 2022, so there's really no sense in chucking him in there on the biggest stage just to force him into the lineup. Also, let's just be honest here, Dembele's record for the national team is not so impressive as to make you want to alter the whole team for him. I mean, this is a guy who gave away a penalty and was substituted in the first half of the last World Cup final. That aside, he has scored just 7 goals in 58 appearances for Les Bleus, so Ballon d'Or or not, you just don't sacrifice balance for him. There's obviously the option of playing him as a 10, but Dembele is simply not a midfielder, and against certain opponents he would be exposed if he plays there. In our opinion, France would look much better if they play a front 4 of Barcola, Mbappe, Olise and Cherki, or Mbappe could be moved to the left to allow Ekitike to play as a 9. Let's now move to Brazil. This might sound crazy, but we think the tough decision Ancelotti must make is to switch up the formation. Brazil have world-class centre-backs, forwards and a decent midfield. What they're lacking are top full-backs, and that's why we think they might need to switch things up and go with a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 formation. With Militão, Gabriel and Marquinhos, Brazil are pretty much covered in the defense. Then they can have Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes giving cover. This will let them dedicate the remaining 4 slots to attackers. He can have Vini and Rafinha play as wingbacks. These guys are energetic and naturally often help out the defense. But in games that Brazil will dominate, they won't even have to do much tracking back. This will then allow the coach to play 2 centre forwards. It could be Cunha and João Pedro, or Endrick and Igor Thiago, whichever combination he chooses. And if he eventually decides to take Neymar, this might even be the best formation for him. He'll play in the front 2, but slightly behind the centre forward. This way, he doesn't have to do any defensive work. He stays as close to goal as possible, creating and scoring. This also reduces the possibility of injuries. If Neymar has to dribble from the wings or carry from deep, that's when he's vulnerable, as opponents would be trying to stop him by kicking and fouling, and that's how he can easily get injured. but if he's already close to goal and doesn't have to do much after he gets the ball, then the risks are largely minimized. A formation like this might not exactly be yoga bonito, but it might actually be the most effective considering Brazil's squad. Speaking of, Ancelotti just needs to swallow his pride and call Neymar for the World Cup. It seems like an easy decision to make, but he has now made it look like a really tough one. He doesn't have to start every game, but Neymar will definitely make life much easier for him and the rest of the team, and we already explained how in our last video. Now, what about Portugal? They have a really good team and we think that they are one of the favourites to win this World Cup. But one tough decision Roberto Martinez has to make is to significantly reduce Cristiano Ronaldo's minutes. There's no reason why a very talented squad like this should be relying on a 41-year-old man for goals. No reason at all. Obviously, we're talking about a man who's arguably the greatest goalscorer the sport has ever seen, and you can never count him out. But he's now on a physical decline, which is not surprising considering his age. Ronaldo cannot press or run as much as you would want your centre forward to, and in some games you would really need that. So, the coach must look at the opponents and determine what game to start Ronaldo and what games to keep him on the bench. He just cannot be a nailed-on starter for every single game, not at this age. Tough decision, but it's one he has to make. And best believe, this is what's best for the team. Imagine you get to the knockouts and a game goes into extra time. When would you rather have Ronaldo on the pitch? In the beginning or at the end? Surely at the end. Against tired legs and tired minds, Ronaldo could do serious damage in the box. But the thing is, you can't have both. At 41, Ronaldo should not be playing 120 minutes, so this is why we say his minutes must be properly managed. Let's now cross over to England. A tough decision Thomas Tuchel has to make is to drop one or two of his star number 10s. England's attacking midfield is so overloaded. With Bellingham, Palmer, Foden, Eze, Rodgers and Gibbs-White available, there are way too many options to pick from, but there's simply no use taking them all. That'll just be taking up space that you could have used to strengthen other positions on the pitch. All of these guys are big names, so dropping any single one of them will be tough, but it's a decision he has to make. Now, if all of them are fit, which two attacking midfielders do you think Tuchel should leave at home ahead of the World Cup? Tell us in the comments. Oh, and just like we said for Ancelotti, Tuchel needs to swallow his pride and include Trent in the World Cup squad. At this point, it feels like it's personal, but Trent is someone who can break open a game, whether from crosses, set pieces or incisive passes. You don't leave a player like this at home, especially not for Jed Spence, Tino Livramento and Ben White. Whatever the issue is, Tuchel just has to set it aside and call him up. Up next, Germany. The tough decision they have to make is to call Manuel Neuer out of retirement. They might really need him. He's still putting up solid performances for Bayern Munich after all, who says he can't still have one last dance with Germany. The whole ter Stegen injury situation has really shaken things up, and that has put Germany in what we think is a pretty sticky situation. It's looking like they intend to go into the World Cup with Oliver Baumann, and we just don't think that's smart. Big knockout games require big goalkeepers, and with all due respect, Baumann is just not that guy. I mean, if he can concede 3 goals against Switzerland in a friendly, imagine how much more he could concede in a World Cup knockout game. Also, Baumann literally turns 36 before the World Cup. If you're going to go for an old keeper, why not just go for the GOAT? And for those who might want to bring up Neuer's injury, it's actually nothing serious. He'll be back in a couple weeks, so he'll be good to go for the World Cup. Finally, we come to the reigning champions Argentina. To be honest, something still feels off about them, but we just cannot place a finger on it. It also doesn't help that they're not taking on top opponents in their World Cup preparations, so it's hard to really make a verdict on what they need to improve on. You know what? We'll just leave that to you guys. What's the one tough decision you think Argentina must make ahead of the World Cup? Tell us in the comments, and while you're there, also tell us if you agree with our other points in the video, and feel free to make suggestions of your own. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.